Hey, what's up, guys? Vigilant Texan here. Tonight, I want to bring to you a video where we break down the parable of the 10 virgins. First of all, sorry I haven't posted any videos in a couple weeks. Just been busy working on a couple bigger, longer teachings that I'm not quite ready with yet. But I had this one done and finished, so I figured I'd go ahead and get it on tape for you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's get right into it. The parable of the 10 virgins. First, let's take a look at our proof text, where we get this from, just to kind of set the stage here. This parable comes from Matthew chapter 25. That's Matthew chapter 25, starting at verse 1. Then shall the Malkuth of the Shamayim be likened to 10 virgins. Okay, the kingdom of heaven. He's gonna give us a parable where he likens it unto 10 virgins. These 10 virgins took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose, and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and for you. But go ye rather to meet them that sell, and buy for yourselves. But while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Then afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Master, Master, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. And I remember reading this parable growing up and having no clue what it means. It's just like, okay, so there's 10 people, they want to marry the bridegroom, and 5 of them have lamps. 5 of them have oil, and the other 5 don't, and 5 don't get in. And watch out, because you don't know when it's going to be. And to me, I always thought, well, you don't ever know when he's going to come, so you got to be ready. Who knows what be ready means? But you got to be ready, right? Well, as it turns out, the Messiah here was using some key terms that we can use to help us figure out what's meant. There's a little picture of the 5 that get in, and he closes the door, and the other 5, they can't get in. So first, I was a little curious at what it says when they says, Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Like, what are you talking about, trimmed your lamps? Well, that word trimmed in the Greek is kosmio, and it says to put in proper order or decorate, so to put it in the right working order, especially to snuff, like a wick. So to light a wick, to adorn, garnish, trim, or to light. So what it means when it says that is that it's time to light your lamps, because you got to go out and meet the groom, and you can't be walking around in the dark, right? So that's all that means, is that the ones who were wise were able to light their lamps, and the others who weren't, they couldn't get theirs lit, they didn't have any oil. Anyways, but one thing I've learned as studying the Tanakh very seriously this past couple years is that, man, the book of Psalms and the book of Proverbs, those 2 sephers right there in the middle, they really are like a glossary, like a dictionary. So many of the other things in the scripture, the meaning is curious, and then you find that one psalm and you're like, oh, okay, like finding out that the Torah is truth. That's like a definition of truth is Torah. The Torah is defined as truth in Psalm 119, And that's just an example, but I've really found that those 2 books can really be the key. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to start with Psalms and Proverbs and go and look and see, can we find some of these terms that we used in that parable, and maybe they can open up a deeper meaning to us. So let's see what they say. So here's Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. In this proverb it says, For the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. So if we take this proverb here and equate it to the parable, then that would mean that since they all had lamps, and we know since they were all virgins, I guess we don't know, but I'm inferring, I'm making the assumption that since the 10 were all virgins, that they were all believers. They were ones who were expecting to get in the kingdom. They were ones waiting, hoping to be part of the marriage. So that's why they all had lamps, see? Because if the commandment is a lamp, they've all heard the commandments. Everybody's got a copy of a Bible. Doesn't matter whether you're Christian or what denomination or faith you are. The Word is, you can get a copy of the Word. You can know at least those 10 commandments, if not, study the whole Torah to show yourself approved. But if we just go by the definition there in Proverbs, then that would mean that all 10 virgins knew the commandments, but only 5 of them were actually following the commandments, see? But I would say that it's even a little deeper than that, because it's not that they weren't following any commandments at all. I mean, anyone who knows, who fears, the fear of Elohim is the beginning of all knowledge, right? So anyone who has that healthy fear of, oh man, I might not make it in the kingdom, surely they're following some of the commandments, right? But maybe their pastor told them that a lot of them were done away with. They don't have to do them. I don't know. Let's dig a little deeper here. Because what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to study to show ourselves approved. A workman who can explain what goes on in the scriptures and why we believe what we believe. Excuse me. So let's keep going. Let's look at another time when those things were mentioned in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 9. The light of the righteous rejoiceth, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. So here we have almost a little microcosm of the parable. We have the righteous that have light, and then the wicked, their lamps would be put out. Could it be that simple? Well, what is it? Let's look on. There's one more here in Proverbs. Let's see, I should have put those in there. You know what? Let's just fix this. Let's fix this, guys. Those were in the wrong order. This is what happens when you rush into a teaching. Like, ooh, I can put this teaching out. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Whosoever curseth his father and mother, his lamp shall be put out. Okay, so in this example, the person who cursed their father and mother, their lamp's put out. Now, what is cursing your father and your mother? Well, that's directly breaking one of the big 10 commandments. Honor your father and your mother, right? So in this scenario, they broke that one commandment and their lamp was put out. Then, as we just read in chapter 13, it says that the light of the righteous rejoiceth, which is what the 10 wise were doing, and the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. So what does it mean to be righteous? And when I read that, I thought, ooh, here's a great example in Luke chapter 1. This is talking about John the Baptist's parents. It says, there was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias, and the course of Abi, and his wife was of the daughters of Aharon, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before Elohim, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of Yah, blameless. Okay, so the righteous are the ones walking in all the commandments and ordinances. Okay. So, boy, as we've gone through here, we're just getting reaffirmation that what it means to be wise and foolish, right? I mean, clearly these wise virgins over here, they're not wicked. They're not breaking commandments. They have the commandments, but so do they. But what are they not? Why is it that some are wise and some are foolish? Let's keep on going. Psalms 119, 105 says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. But, so that reaffirms. I also found a few times when these things were mentioned in the prophets. Yeshayahu, or Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 20. To the Torah and the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So, according to Isaiah here, the Torah and the testimony. Okay, to the Torah and to the testimony. He says both. And if you don't speak according to those two things, it's because there's no light in you, right? It's kind of like the verse, the scripture from, I believe it's one of the epistles of John, where it says, he that says they know me, but keepeth not my commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. So, you can't say you're a follower and you're a believer, and you're just living a worldly life and not following any commandments, So let's see what Hosea has to say about it. In Hosea 6:5, it says, "Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets," hewed meaning trimmed or cut, "I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth." So there, the judgments are the light. Another time when this is mentioned, and Matthew 5, a lot of us jump on 17 through 20 and to say that the Torah wasn't done away with because Messiah mentions it here. But really, if you start a little earlier in verse 15, we get a key little nugget of knowledge here. "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and then put it under a bushel, but they put it on a candlestick. And it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." So letting your light shine includes letting people see your good works. Okay? And then he goes as soon as he's done talking about that, he goes right into, "Think not that I'm come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I've not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled." So right after he's talking about you being the light and letting your light shine so they can see your good works, he goes right into saying the Torah and the prophets are still valuable. They're still valid. That's what the good works he's hoping people will see you doing, is to follow the Torah. And the whole thing up here where, the 5 that can't get in, they're banging on the door, "Master, Master, open to us." Boy, this sounds so much like this passage here in Luke. "Strive to enter in the strait gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able." Many, just as many foolish as there was wise. "When once the master of the house has risen up and hath shut to the door, and ye begin to stand without and knock at the door, saying, Master, Master, open to us, and he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence ye are. When then ye shall begin to say, We've eaten and drunk in thy presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence ye are. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity." So here, the people who are knocking and can't get in are the workers of iniquity. Well, what is iniquity? Did you guys know he was quoting Psalms right there? I never knew it until I read and it had a little footnote. And then I went and found it. Psalm 6:8, "Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity." So, he's quoting Psalms in that, and what is iniquity? Well, iniquity is sin, okay, and what is sin? 1 John 3:4 tells us that whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the Torah. For sin is the transgression of the Torah. It's anomia, like I talked about in my last video. Breaking the Torah is wickedness. It's sin. It's transgression. Okay? Here's another one from Proverbs. Proverbs 28:7. "Whoso keepeth the Torah is a wise son." Okay? "But he that is the companion of riotous men shames his father." Another, honor your father and mother, right? So here we're told that whoever keeps the Torah is wise. Wow. So the wise virgins, think about it, guys. How much more blatantly obvious could Messiah be with this parable? Okay, he's talking about the wise virgins and the foolish virgins, right? Well, what is wise and foolish? There we're told in Proverbs there. And then here's another one from Psalms, like what I said, Psalms and Proverbs, right? Your glossary. Psalms 119:98. "Oh, how I love thy Torah. It is my meditation all the day. Thou through thy commandments hast made me wiser than mine enemies." Okay, so through loving the Torah, meditating on it all day, and through thy commandments, that's what makes you wise. Okay, so like I was saying, how much more blatantly obvious could the Messiah be here? Okay, we got, first off, he says 5 of them were wise. and 5 were foolish. Okay? If you've been reading the book anywhere up to the gospel, you would know a lot of these definitions. But that's the problem. Christianity tells you, here you go, start in Matthew. Here, start reading in John, and then go on through. And then if you get to Revelations and it's confusing, don't worry about it. You don't need to really, that's all going to be way in the future. Excuse the train. Sorry, guys. But for those of you who study the Torah, who know the Tanakh, these little words that he's using, these little examples, these little things that we're using in this parable, they should jump right off the page at you. Okay? We're told what it is to be wise. We're told what a lamp is. We're told what a light is. All these things are told to us, but yet people think of these parables like, oh, such a great mystery. Well, you know what? I'm so thankful that Yah has opened my eyes and removed the scales so that I can see, so that I could take the light of the Torah, take that light of the Torah and shine it on the New Testament like a spotlight. Ooh, what does this mean? And I'm telling you what, guys, now that I'm studying Torah, the New Testament is unlocking like never before. Stuff's making sense, like stuff that I never did understand growing up, you know. Earlier in this one verse, though, Isaiah, Yeshayahu, it says, to the Torah and to the testimony, right? That you need both. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm going to go through my favorite verses in Revelations here to end with, like I do sometimes. Revelations 12:17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah, and have the testimony of Messiah. Two things there in Revelations, in the very end. In order to be part of the seed, part of the you know, the people on the good side, you need two things: to keep the commandments, meaning the Torah, and have the testimony of Messiah, meaning his blood for my sins. You know, he paid my price. But now that I've accepted that, I begin to walk the Torah and begin to bear the good fruit, which is keeping the commandments. So let's keep going here in Revelations 14. Here is the patience of the saints. So he's just going to tell us. They that keep the commandments of Yah and the faith of the Messiah. So there we are, both things mentioned again. Keep the commandments of Yah and have the faith of the Messiah. And then Revelations chapter 22, 13 and 14. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the kingdom. Blessed are they that do the commandments, so they may enter into the marriage ceremony. Guys, be one of the wise virgins. Don't be foolish. Don't think that you can just believe on the name and believe in the Messiah, and he's going to have grace and save you no matter how you live your life from day to day. Don't think that you can just ignore his Moedim and his set appoint times and just continue celebrating these pagan holidays, you know, and just sit there right inside Babylon on your Sunday worship and not expect to feel the wrath of the plagues. You know, it says, come out of her, my people, so that you do not partake in her plagues. You know, come have some light for your lamp so that you can follow the Messiah in and be inside the house protected. You know, it's kind of like in you know, the Noah's Ark. You know, when he closes the ark and the rains start coming and people are pounding on the outside of the ark, let us in, let us in. Well, it's the same thing, right? But boy, you know, so many people have this parable so wrong. Just a quick look over at just one. This is like the Orthodox Russian something or other. I was just trying to find other interpretations. Really, the interpretations are all over the place. If you don't know the Torah, you're bound to think of it any old way you can. But this guy says, in the parable of the wise and the foolish, when the foolish lax is going by in the market, the bride chamber door was already shut. And it says here, why can't I see that? It's a little strange there. Some say that the lack of oil in the lamps of the foolish virgins means a lack of good deeds in your lifetime. So, of course, if you don't understand the parable, let's just go ahead and drill in some basic Twistianity of, you can't have a works-based faith, and he says, some believe that it's a lack of good deeds, but I think that what they were lacking was the grace of the all Holy Spirit of God. Okay? So what they were lacking was grace? And don't think that it means doing deeds? I mean, wow, could you have got it any more wrong? I mean, I guess that's what happens when you don't study under the light of the Torah. It's you're like a boat in a storm. The winds and the waves just come wash you whichever way, and you just go, I think I know what this parable means. The wise virgins were like me, and the foolish virgins were like everyone else, right? No. Messiah was very calculated with the words he used. Luckily, he used very key words here like lamps and light and oil and foolish and wise, so that we, the Bereans, who've studied to show ourselves approved, we can know that the light that they had, the oil for their lamps, was the fact that they were practicing the Torah. They were rehearsing Yah's Moedim, and they were doing biblical things in biblical ways. And I would just pray that you guys, take this to heart and obey the Torah. Be a sheep, not a goat. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this. As always, leave a comment, shoot me an email. Let me know how I'm doing. Any suggestions are welcome. Hope y'all are having a good week, and we'll see you next time, guys. Shalom, shalom.